Welcome to Tradition 8. Tradition 8. Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. The long form is Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional. We define professionalism as the occupation of counseling alcoholics for fees or hire. But we may employ alcoholics where they are going to perform those services for which we might otherwise have to engage non-alcoholics. Such special services may be well recompensed, but our usual 12-step work is never to be paid for. Special workers, professionals, or paid employees who make 12-step work possible. Cleaning, answering phones, etc. Alcoholics Anonymous will never have a professional class. We have gained some understanding of the ancient words, freely ye have received, freely give. That's in the Bible, Matthew 10, 5-8. We have discovered that at the point of professionalism, money and spirituality do not mix. Almost no recovery from alcoholism has ever been brought about by the world's best professionals, whether medical or religious. We do not decry professionalism in other fields. We don't criticize them. But we accept the sober fact that it does not work for us. Every time we have tried to professionalize our 12th step, the result has been exactly the same. Our single purpose has been defeated, which is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Alcoholics simply will not listen to a paid 12-stepper. Almost from the beginning, we've been positive that face-to-face work with alcoholic who suffers could be based only on the desire to help and be helped. When an AA talks for money, whether at a meeting or to a single newcomer, it can have a very bad effect on him too. The money motive compromises him in everything he says and does for his prospect. The money motive is if that's our purpose. Motive means purpose. So the money purpose compromises and weakens a person's 12th step. This has always been so obvious that only a very few AAs have ever worked the 12th step for a fee. Despite this certainty, it is nevertheless true that few subjects have been the cause of more contention, arguments, within our fellowship than professionalism. Caretakers who swept floors, cooks who fried hamburgers, secretaries in offices, authors writing books, all these have been seen hotly assailed because they were, as their critics angrily remarked, making money out of AA. So they're attacked, they're criticized, they're condemned. Look, frying a hamburger, cleaning a floor, you're not supposed to get paid for that. Ignoring the fact that these laborers were not 12-step jobs at all. The critics attacked as AA professionals these workers of ours who were often doing thankless jobs that no one else could or would do. They're unappreciated jobs that no one else can do or wants to do. Even greater furors were provoked when AA members began to run rest homes and farms for alcoholics, when some hired out to corporations as personnel men in charge of the alcoholic problem and industry, when some became nurses on alcoholic wards, when others entered the field of alcohol education. In all these instances and more, it was claimed that AA knowledge and experience were being sold for money. Hence, these people too were professionals. At last, however, a plain line of cleavage could be seen between professionalism and professionalism, split. When we had agreed that 12 step work couldn't be sold for money, we had been wise. But when we had declared that our fellowship could not hire service workers, nor could any AA member carry our knowledge into other fields, we were taking the counsel of fear, fear which today has been largely dispelled in the light of experience. Dispelled means to make a doubt, feeling, or belief disappear. Take the case of the club janitor and cook. If a club is going to function, it has to be habitable and hospitable, has to be in good condition, working order. We tried volunteers who were quickly disenchanted with sweeping floors and brewing coffee 7 days a week. Disenchanted means no longer happy, pleased, or satisfied. They just didn't show up. Even more important, an empty club couldn't answer its telephone, but it was an open invitation to a drunk on a bench who possessed a spare key. So somebody had to look after the place full time. Clubs used to, some clubs used to be open 24 hours. I don't know if they are anymore. If we hired an alcoholic, he'd receive only what we'd have to pay a non-alcoholic for the same job. The job was not to do 12-step work, it was to make 12-step work possible. It was a service position, pure and simple. Service defined as employment as a servant. A piece of work done for a client or customer that does not involve manufacturing goods. Neither could AA itself function without full-time workers. At the foundation and intergroup offices, we couldn't employ non-alcoholics as secretaries. We had to have people who knew the AA pitch. But the moment we hired them, the ultra-conservative and fearful ones shrilled. They yelled professionalism. At one period, the status of these faithful servants was almost unbearable. Okay, so the social position of the faithful servants was almost intolerable. They weren't asked to speak at AA meetings because they were making money out of AA. At times, they were actually shunned, rejected by fellow members. Even the charitably disposed described them as a necessary evil. Committees took full advantage of this attitude to depress their salaries, reduce their salaries, pay them less money they would pay other people. They could regain some measure of virtue, worthiness, it was thought, if they worked for AA real cheap. These notions persisted for years, and we saw that if a hard-working secretary answered the phone dozens of times, listened to 20 wailing wives, arranged hospitalization, got sponsorship for 10 newcomers, and was gently diplomatic with the irate drunk who complained about the job she was doing and how she was overpaid, then such a person could surely not be called a professional AA. She was not professionalizing the 12th step. She was just making it possible. She was helping to give the man coming in the door the break he ought to have. Volunteer committeemen and assistants could be of great help, but they could not be expected to carry this load day in and day out. I think that's an unreasonable expectation to want somebody to do something for free because you're afraid they might get paid for doing something. It kind of smells a little bit like jealousy. At the foundation, the same story repeats itself. 8 tons of books and literature per month do not package and channel themselves all over the world. Sacks of letters on every conceivable AA problem, ranging from a lonely heart Eskimo to the growing pains of thousands of groups, must be answered by people who know. Right contacts with the world outside have to be maintained. AA's lifelines have to be tended. So we hire AA staff members. We pay them well and they earn what they get. They are professional secretaries, but they certainly are not professional AAs. Perhaps the fear will always lurk in every AA heart that one day our name will be exploited. Exploit means to use in an unfair or selfish way, to benefit unfairly from the work of someone, typically by overworking or underpaying them. There has to be a fair line. Even the suggestion of such a thing never fails to whip up a hurricane, and we have discovered that hurricanes have a way of mauling with equal severity both the just and unjust. Okay, so just the mere mention that someone might be uh, using AA for money whips up a violent storm that mauling means that attacks and injures with equal strength both the just and unjust. So those who deserve it and those who don't. They are always unreasonable. No individuals have been more buffeted by such emotional gusts than those AAs bold enough to accept employment with outside agencies dealing with the alcohol problem. Wow. Let's see. Number one, a university wanted an AA member to educate the public on alcoholism. A corporation wanted personnel man familiar with the subject. 3, a state drunk farm wanted a manager who could really handle inebriates, alcoholics. The city wanted an experienced social worker who understood what alcohol could do to a family. The state alcohol commission wanted a paid researcher. These are only a few of the jobs which AA members as individuals have been asked to fill. Now and then, AA members have bought farms or rest homes where badly beat up topers, alcoholics, could find needed care. The question was, and sometimes still is, please stop, are such activities to be branded as professionalism under AA tradition? I'm going to put you in the other room if you don't stop. Okay, so here's the question. Are people who, if a university wants an AA member to educate the public on alcoholism, and a corporation wants a personnel man, and a drunk farm wants a manager, and a city wants a social worker, and alcohol commission wants a researcher, and AA members who have recovery houses, um, here's the question. Are such activities to be branded as professionalism under AA tradition? We think the answer is no. We think the answer is no. The answer is no. Whatever we think and feel about it, the answer, according to AA tradition, is no. It's in black and white there on page 170. It's okay to be afraid someone might take advantage of AA, but that doesn't necessarily mean that our fears are true. Members who select such full-time careers do not professionalize AA's 12th step. 12th step. The road to this conclusion was long and rocky. At first, we couldn't see the real issue involved. In former days, the moment an AA hired out to such enterprises, he was immediately tempted to use the name Alcoholics Anonymous for publicity or money-raising purposes. Drunk farms, educational ventures, state legislatures, and commissions advertised the fact that AA members served them. Unthinkingly, AA so employed recklessly broke anonymity to thump the tub for their pet enterprise. That means when you take a position and you connect your name as a member of Alcoholics Anonymous in your paid profession, that is breaking the tradition 8. If you take a position you're not getting paid for and you're doing it for free, I think you can break your anonymity, because that's kind of like what it says, right? Says alcoholics not for publicity or money raising purposes. For this reason, some very good causes and all connected with them suffered unjust criticism from AA groups. So they weren't thinking, it wasn't their intention to break any tradition. More often than not, these onslaughts were spearheaded by the cry professionalism. That guy's making money out of AA. Yet not a single one of them had been hired to do AA's 12-step work. That's the trick there. Are we doing 12-step work? No. The violation in these instances was not professionalism at all. It was breaking anonymity. AA's sole purpose was being compromised, and the name of Alcoholics Anonymous was being misused. Okay, let's break it down. AA's sole purpose was being compromised. Compromised. Look, accept standards. Okay, bring into disrepute or danger by foolish, indiscreet, or reckless. Accept standards lower than desirable. Misused, used in the wrong way or for the wrong reason or purpose. Okay. It is significant now that almost no AA in our fellowship breaks anonymity at the public level. Almost. Almost no one. Almost. Some of us do. Because there are some reasons that will justify us breaking our anonymity in our own personal walk with God. Okay. Nearly all of these fears have subsided. We see we have no right or need to discourage AAs who wish to work as individuals in these wider fields. It would actually be antisocial were we to forbid them. So it would be unacceptable, sociopathic. If you look up the word sociopathic, if you are one of those people that are trying to stop people from carrying the message in any way at all, I'd say in any way at all whatsoever, where they're getting paid for it or not. Okay, maybe they are. I don't know. Why would we want to stop that? What's my motive for wanting to stop somebody from doing something good? We cannot declare AA such a closed corporation that we keep our knowledge and experience top secret. If an AA member acting as a citizen can become a better researcher, educator, professional, or personnel officer, then why not? Everybody gains, and we have lost nothing. True, some of the projects to which AAs have attached themselves have been ill conceived. They weren't thought through very well, but that makes not the slightest difference with the principle involved. This is the exciting welter events which has finally cast up AA's traditions and non professionalism. Our 12th step is never to be paid for, but those who labor in service for us are worthy of their hire. So they should be paid for the work they do. So let's not be jealous of people. Because let me say, I used to be jealous of people who had recovery houses because they were making money and I wanted to make money. But that's jealousy and that's not gonna. Oh, I got a note here. Freely you have received, freely give. Biblical principles based on the idea that people should offer the gifts they receive from God back to Him for His purposes. So if someone like me in AA is trying to do what they feel God wants them to do, who are you to tell them they can't? So that's just how I feel about that. On to the next tradition.